Activity 4.1a, puzzle part combinations. In this activity, you need to imagine as if you had some puzzle pieces that you could use to generate different types of shapes from those pieces. You start out with 3, and then you move up to 4, and then 5, and then 6. This is a direct connection to the project, the puzzle cube project that you'll be working on, but this is a sketching activity. So imagine this is what you would normally have been given in class. You would have been given a sleeve of linking cubes, and you would have been asked to start out with 3, and then you would say, well, how many shapes can I make from 3 cubes? Well, this is a shape. This is a shape. And so, are there any others? Actually, no, there's not. And so you would sketch those 2 shapes with 3 cubes, and you would try to do a lot of this that you can think of, that you can imagine, come up with in your mind. And so you would sketch as many combinations as you can come up with 3, which is only 2 solutions. Then you would go back and you would add a 4th one, and then you would decide how many shapes can I make with this. So with 4, we know this is a shape, this is a shape, this is a shape, and then you would keep going and you would sketch all of these as you come up with them. Again, the goal is to try to get you to do a lot of these on your own without having to use the cubes, but you can use the cubes to help you kind of get started. And so you would sketch each of these, and then you would add a 5th one to the mix, and you would sketch as many combination or many shapes as you can come up with 5 cubes, and then you would eventually add a 6th one, and you would try to sketch as many shapes as you can with 6 cubes. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. You start out with 3, sketch the shapes you can come up with, go to 4, then 5, and then 6, and the goal is to sketch as many as you can come up with as possible. So what I would do is set yourself a limit. I would start out with 2. Obviously there's only 2 options, 2 shapes you can come up with 3 cubes, so you would sketch those. Then you go up to 3, you're going to have a little bit more. 4, you'll have a little bit more. 5, you'll have a lot more. 6, you'll have even more. So just set yourself a limit. When you get to 4, 5, and 6, just kind of set yourself a limit. Come up with like 8, and then once you come up with 8 different shapes, just move on to the next set that you need to come up with. This is what your sketches should look like. So as you start out with 3 cubes, you would sketch the number of shapes that you come up with. This is an example. And then you would move up to 4, and you would sketch the shapes that you come up with 4 cubes. And then you would move up to 5. Here's an example of that. 5 is continued on this page here. And then you'd move up to 6. Again, you don't have to sketch all the shapes for the 4, 5, and 6 cube combinations, but you do need to set yourself a limit, maybe about 8 to 10. And then once you come up with that number, just move on to the next one. But again, this isn't just an example of what your shape should look like. There's isometric graph paper on the Schoology page for this activity, and you should try to use that as you sketch. It'll make it a whole lot easier. They do need to be isometrics. They should not be 2D, but they should look just like this.